Division Dispatches.
E2G, Efficient, Effective Governance. This division dispatch is an introduction to the concept of governing to the best of your abilities and your board as a whole being successful in that endeavor. The series of E2G videos, resource material, in-person presentations, webinars, and facilitated workshops are offered through the Manitoba School Boards Association to make up a complete package to assist you in that objective. Let's first start with a look from 30,000 feet. What is a school board's actual job? To champion the success and achievement of all division students? Yes. To act as a buffer or liaison between the public and operations? Yes. To provide oversight for division operations, or in other words, the buck stops here? Yes, that's part of it too. To interpret the cultural norms and values of your community? Yes. It's a bit of all of this, but what does that look like in actual practice? I think what we're really talking about is summed up by saying efficient, effective governance, or E2G, or let's just call it E2G. Think about your board's annual evaluation and take a step back to look at how your board actually functions from a high level. I'm not talking about whether your meetings run smoothly or whether one policy needs redrafting so old school buses can be overhauled. I'm talking about the big picture and how your board governs. How efficient and effective is your board, and is it both efficient and effective? You can be very efficient and rubber stamp everything that comes at you, or you can be very effective and trustees spend 80 hours debating, developing, and communicating a tax hike, when some of the duties should clearly be delegated to those you hired to do those very tasks. If assessing your board's E2G quotient, let's take a look at that starting point where you are elected by the owners of the system. It's important to define who the owners are. Some might say it's the students, but they and the community are more the beneficiaries. Or if you think of being accountable to a client as in a business, the students and the community are likely more concerned with the me. For example, if a student or parent of a student is struggling, they're concerned perhaps about a particular aspect of the system, or a student that's interested in a particular program stream. So the real owner might be characterized by those with the we attitude. They have a vested interest in the whole system. Their concerns lie with the whole, and as a trustee, you are the voice or advocate of the owners. So if you take those job examples of champion, liaison, interpreter that I gave you earlier and put them into the context of who you as a board are really answering to, you might try summing up the work of a school board in the following way. Job number 1. The board is a representative and accountable to the beneficiaries, but also, just as important, its owners, the people who have overall vested interest in the system as a whole. For those of you that remember the Enron scandal and the enormous changes in governance that were brought about by the fall of that board, you may remember the board chair, Kenneth Lay. He said that the board couldn't possibly be the overseer of everything and that they couldn't know all that was going on. This same attitude has been cited more recently by FIFA, the World Soccer governing body, and the federal Liberals with the sponsorship scandal and with the Conservatives in the robocall or Duffy scandals. But boards are accountable. Accountability is the flip side of empowerment. You must have both. Job number 2. The board acts as servant and leader. You must serve and serve all those within your division, but it's also incumbent upon you to lead and progress. It's not just about making sure that your students have the highest marks, but who are those students coming out at the other end, and what are they offering the division, the community, maybe the whole world after they graduate? Where are you leading them? Job number 3 is board holism. The board acts with one voice. The trustee does not have an individual voice except at the table. There, as an individual trustee, it is incumbent upon you to use it and not just be a bystander. But the board is also transparent. Debates happen at the board table and in front of those to whom you are accountable. There is no room for parking lot conversations and the late night phone lobbying. A good initiative should win at the table on its own merits. And with board holism, there is support for the whole as well. The E2G model is not a static picture. Your board's efficiency and effectiveness will fluctuate over time, depending who the players are, depending upon the situation. You can think of it as an E2G fulcrum. For example, when you have a new superintendent or chair, you may have to sacrifice some of your efficiency as you provide more direction and oversight at the beginning. But then, as the board and your leadership team develop a level of trust and are more comfortable with the capabilities of each other, the balance between efficiency and effectiveness can even out. Finally, with E2G, there isn't one size fits all, or there's not a model that will work for everyone. Your board needs to find out what works for it, but always within the goal of being efficient and effective. At your next board evaluation, take a look at the big picture and assess how your board measures up to the three jobs we covered. What are your owner's perceptions of how you, both the board and you as a trustee, do your job? Can you say your board is making progress and a difference, or are they spending more time doing the housekeeping things? Does your governance model or board manual need tweaking or a complete overhaul? Are you governing at the right level? This introduction to E2G is meant to start your board thinking about how you are governing and if it needs some adjustments or renovation from the ground up. We, the Manitoba School Boards Association, can help you get started. We also offer facilitation of strategic planning sessions and reviews and assistance with changes to your policy manual or governance model. You can keep checking our website as we will be adding to this area, and call for more governance resources in any of the areas mentioned.